Hello dear viewers, and we're back again with another guest right here. So on the World Children's Day, we are reminded that every child deserves not only education and safety, but also high quality healthcare that protects their growth, immunity, and well-being. To highlight the importance of child health, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Khaled Kalandar, consultant of pediatrics, to discuss essential medical practices for children and how families can better support their child's health. And welcome to the show, Dr. Khaled, and how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
So today is a very special day. It is the Children's Day. So how has it been going now, and especially in the hospitals right now?
Well, it's been busy. A lot of kids are sick these days with the flu, but a lot of them are also enjoying the weather and having a good time with their families.
All right. So our first question is that on the World Children's Day, it focuses on protecting children's rights, including their right to health. From your perspective, as a pediatric consultant, what are the, let's say, the rights that they have when it has to do with healthcare and how to make them grow even better?
Excellent. So it is one of the fundamental rights for children to have a nurturing environment, a healthy environment for them to thrive. And childhood plays an important period of time where most of the growth happen. And when we have a very healthy environment, it reflects the rest of life. And most of the diseases start really early on, and most of the healthy habits also start earlier on. So it's really important to focus on childhood and to have all the necessary steps taken in order to ensure or at least give children the potential for healthy growth.
So when we talk about environment, we also talk about their life, which is indoor and outdoor, because we cannot just keep the child indoor all the time and try to protect them from everything that could actually make their immunity even better.
Of course. So children need to be mobile, so need to be active, and we should take advantage of this lovely weather and spend a lot of time outdoors, and best to be served as a family activity rather than just a child-focused activity, so everybody in the family can enjoy the nice weather.
So people are kind of concerned mostly about respiratory infection, and they're comparing it to the seasonal flu.
Yes.
So how can we actually guide the parents to know the difference and at the same time not to be totally 100% on concerning that every time they get sick?
So it is the flu season, and it is the season of the respiratory illnesses, which are usually caused by a number of viruses that have their activities at its highest when we start October, November, and then sort of start to a little bit slow down over the New Year's, and then again another activity in March. To differentiate between the two, most of the what we call common cold is a minor viral illnesses that get transmitted from one child to another, and children will have a low-grade fever. By that, what I mean is a temperature of between 38 and 39, and lasts usually for 2 to 3 days with cough and runny nose, but otherwise they're active, healthy, and they respond to their treatment.
It's part of the growth of the immunity.
Part of the growth. Yeah. However, the influenza or the seasonal influenza is a different type of illness that is usually more severe. It causes high-grade fever, so fever reaching 40 and even more, and that lasts for a prolonged period of time, so anywhere from 5 to 7, even 10 days. And the child usually feels very miserable. They have body aches. They might have even vomiting and diarrhea. So to differentiate between the two, we can use these two parameters. And we have a vaccine for the influenza, the seasonal influenza virus. So
which is every year before the starting of the season.
Exactly, exactly. So from here, I encourage people to go ahead and take the vaccine to protect your family, protect your children, and protect everybody around you.
So also we have nutrition, which it plays a big role into the growth of the child.
Definitely.
And there are some misconceptions about what to feed them, what not to feed them, and so how can we also help the parents out on this?
Excellent. So when we talk about nutrition, it's not only about their sort of immunity, not only about their growth, but also about their development. So nutrition play an important part of brain constructions and brain activity. So it's really important to have the best nutrition available for children. The first thing we should start with is breastfeeding. Breast milk is the best food for children. There is nothing to compare to So all the formulas that are, they're good, but they are nothing compared to breastfeeding. So I encourage breastfeeding and continue breastfeeding as much as the mother can go. So even up to 2 years and beyond. With that, at the age of 6 months, the child should start solid food. And when we talk about solid food, it needs to be iron-rich food. So legumes, meat, eggs, fruits, and vegetables. For older kids, it's really important for the whole family to have a healthy eating habit. So establishing a healthy eating habits really earlier on with the whole family involved and going back to the basics. So we need to have our carbs, healthy fats, healthy protein. So fruits, vegetables with every meal, half of the meal being fruits and vegetables, maybe 1/4 of the meal healthy protein, and around 1/4 whole grain or whole wheat grain, anything whole, unprocessed, as much as we can.
See, you gave us a very big variety of foods, but sometimes parents, they get to the point that they're like, I need to make your immune stronger, so they focus on one type of food and they forget everything else which is for the immune system or the bones or your skin and so on.
That's very important. So the immune system is not dependent on one or two elements, it's dependent on number of elements, including major metals, including also vitamins. So you have to have a good mixture of food.
All right. Now we're going to shift a little bit in our conversation, talk about what is the rave right now, since we're now in the generation of technology and using the screens. These days, children use on-screen time a lot. And how does this actually affect their development when it has to do with their cognitive response, their eye strain, and so on?
Excellent. So technology have brought us a lot of leisure and made our life much easier. And also teaching kids technology is actually teaching them new skills that they can use for the rest of their lives. And we have to involve them in our technology. However, there are some drawbacks when it comes to screen time. So especially the younger ones, because most of the time they are sitting down when using a screen, it affects their activity and they need to be active. Also, it increases the rate of obesity, and we are struggling with obesity
they become
worldwide.
more active in the brain stemming, like they stem their brains, but when it has to do with their physical, they're always in a sedentary kind of lifestyle.
But also kids, especially the younger ones, need to have an interactive activity. So they need to go back and forth with humans in order to understand their emotions and react to their emotions in a healthy manner. Also,
and to understand their five senses also.
Exactly, to use all their five senses. So there are some drawbacks. As a result, many sort of academies or many societies that have interest in brain development have recommended that we cut down screen time to no screen time for kids less than the age of 2, 1 hour of screen time for kids between the age of 2 and 5, and no more than 2 to 3 hours for kids beyond the age of 5.
All right. So we talk about the healthy growth milestones. So how can we actually indicate that our child is actually growing in a steady kind of way and they're actually hitting every milestone in the right way?
This is a very important question, and a lot of time we overlook this very important sort of period of childhood. Kids grow very rapidly, especially in the first few years of life, and as a result we might miss very important deficiencies. Sometimes the deficiencies are obvious. We see a short kid or a kid who's not thriving well, but sometimes the deficiencies are not so obvious because the child might grow enough or take enough calories, but they are unhealthy calories. Also, the same thing goes with the development. So kids should speak or should listen and should interact at certain stages. For example, a 1-year-old child should have at least 2 to 3 words, and they should be responding to their name. If they are not doing that, they might be a red flag for something going on. Maybe it's a hearing defect or maybe something else. Also, a child should be walking by the age of 1 year and 4 months. If they are not doing so, maybe it's something because of their bones or because of their nervous system or because of their muscles. So there are many things and many steps, and I urge people to take their kids to the well child clinics. So children born, they should be checked within 48 hours, then within 1 week, then within 1 month, and then every 2 months up to the age of 1 year, and then every 3 to 6 months according to their sort of.
All right. So also another thing is about the child's mental health.
Yes.
So usually when parents go for frequent checks,
Yes.
it's kind of sometimes it gets too much or too obsessive to the point that do we actually have to be worried about the child's reaction to always going to school, to hospitals, and will it actually affect them? And
Actually, a lot of the physical complaints that kids come into the clinic is actually related to sort of mental issue that they had or mental struggle that they had. So a lot of the kids will wake up with abdominal pain, for example, or a headache, but it's actually an anxiety or maybe something that happened in school that's triggering these symptoms. So, and mental health and mental well-being plays as important part as physical well-being, especially in a developing mind. And it sets people for the rest of their lives. Most of the people who have struggle or have negative childhood, they will continue to struggle in their adulthood with their mental illness. So it's really important to focus on that, not only on the sort of physical part.
All right, if you could give one universal advice for our dear viewers for today's special day, which is the Children's Day, what would it be?
So a lot of parents will complain that their children are not active, or they're having a lot of screen time, or they're not eating healthy. But when you look at it, they are usually reflecting their parents' behavior. So you cannot tell your child stop watching TV and you're on your mobile all day. So be a role model, and be healthy yourself, so you can support your child and you can watch them grow up, and you have a healthy life altogether. Enjoy life, enjoy the weather.
It's also beautiful. Exactly.
It's beautiful day today.
Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Khaled, and we hope to see you soon again. And thank you so much for these informative informations. And again, we thank you so much right here at KTV2 and the family of KTV2.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
So all thanks and appreciation to our guest, Dr. Khaled Kalandar, consultant of pediatrics. And now we'll go for a short break and we'll be right back.